Okay, so, hi everyone, this is Will from Productions², and here tonight to do not a short stream, not a long stream, but something in the middle, maybe 45 minutes or so. And we're going to be covering the live stream title topic of the cleanup and extra development on the plugins. So this morning we were doing some work on the map. I'll come back to this for a second. I just want to... I'll just tab out of that real quick. So we'll talk about that in a bit. So we did some work on this. We added in a new map, some new enemies, and a boss that will give you a new weapon that you can use for synthesizing. That has what might be a particularly sought-after attribute to increase the amount of experience gained when you after you win a battle. As well as putting in some enemies and trying out some extra things, like I did with the whole thing with Mr. Demon and the whole kind of showy theater bit with that. Doing something similar with these new enemies to add in status effects and stuff like that that will kind of throw you for a loop in this area. This area is supposed to be kind of a difficult area to get through initially. And I may actually make this so that it's set up so that it's made for once you've gone through and messed around with the plugin all that you want to a certain extent and get to like a certain level of weapons or whatnot. You come in here, try to get through this maze, and you can fight this boss down here and get a weapon that you can use to merge into your to synthesize with the weapons that you have. And then you can, play around with it and see how the whole synthesizing thing would actually will work in a real world scenario. So that was this morning. So tonight I came in and said, okay, I want to implement some of the stuff that we're going to work on this morning, but then it got pushed off because this took longer than I thought it would. Actually, I had not planned to do that. That's why. And so what I've done is I've implemented. Let me see what they've done. So I wanted to do three things. I wanted to put in the ability to limit like EXP gain on weapons. I wanted to put in the limit, the limiting of the synthesizing of weapons that have. Again, let me try that again. I wanted to implement the requirement that weapons that you want to synthesize have to be have at least one refined level and be at their maximum level. And I wanted to implement the this new plugin parameter command to only show parameters which have a non-zero value. So those are the ones that I wanted to do. And those are the ones I've done. I did all those after work today when I got back home. So and I did some things in addition to that and found some other issues that I fixed, which we'll go over now, which is in a different file. I've got a Word doc here, so this is all the stuff that I've done so far, all this stuff. For this update. So I found a couple bugs. I found a bug where the note tag import wasn't processing S-params correctly, SP params, because SP params are floats, they're not ints. I didn't realize it at first. And then when I realized that, and this morning we set those things to put in this thing to make them show up as percentages. That's when I realized that that's what they were. I then tried testing that stuff out with one of the weapons that has one of the SP parameters on it, which is one of the first ones. The cane has a like a magic reflect attribute on it, parameter value with it on the note tag, and it wasn't coming up with anything. So I was trying to figure out why, and it was because the note tag was being pulled in, and those SP parameter values are being treated as integers. That was after I had changed the values in the note tags themselves to actually be floats. But they're still being pulled into integers because we're parsing it to an int instead of a float in the note tag, so I fixed that in the note tag import. These you already knew about. We fixed those. I fixed those a while ago, a few days ago, where we put in all the select statements, though I did have to change those around a bit. Fixed an issue with the black... so this is the thing I didn't realize. The code that I wrote to minimize the all the crap for the parameters, like how I had the parameters in like the huge list and then we're putting them in specifically based on conditions. I said screw that, I'm going to do like a for loop or something to do that. The code I did to actually display them in that for loop was using a condition of I equals 4 for when the row would be complete. However, that means that it would go one over the line into the traits section once I actually got something that had more than 3 parameters in it. So I had to dial that back to 3 to fix that. So that's fixed now. And then also, I found this again, and I just got somehow I just removed the code that did this entirely instead of trying to code around it, because it wasn't working like I thought it would. So that's gone now. Now this is probably what you were reading while I was listing all those off. So this is all the new stuff I put in that's either related to one of those 3 topics or something entirely different. So for something entirely different, let me show you. So I was kind of getting annoyed with the fact that when you go into here and you go to choose something to like to refine or synthesize or whatever, if you don't, you see it's grayed out, but you don't really know why from this information. Well, now let's choose synthesize. So now we see that it's because we don't have enough refinements on this weapon. We have to have at least 1 refinement for this weapon to be synthesizable. But we do have the maximum level, and we see what the maximum level is here. I added those in now, so there's 2 more parameters that I've added because of that, and there'll be 2 more plugin commands to control those parameters from, or no, scratch that. I'm thinking of, that's not what this is. This is some, what it is I modified the expanded info function signature to add in some booleans that I pass through from the action panel when we do a select. So every time we hit select one of these commands, it's throwing a new, it's basically reloading this. So it's throwing it's calling that expanded info function and passing through a series of booleans that it's telling it what to produce and what not to produce. So on the level up, we just want to see what the maximum level is so you can see what it is. Just basic information. You can see the percentages working down here now. On refine though, we can see that, okay, we have to have the maximum level, so we have this level of 8 out of 8 and it's green, so that means we can. And on synthesize, we see we have refinement is red since we're not the maximum refinement. Now, you might be thinking, well, does you have to be at least 1 refine anyway? No. That is not the case. I will show you why. Crap, what was it? Actually, we'll need to go to that one NPC down here that has all the weapons. Alright. Now I'll again show you something that I've changed about the original one of the original 3 things we were going to work on. So here's a katana. Oh, 2. Yeah, and you can see up here, we'll talk about that as well. So I've added in 2 new note tag attributes. One is to limit the amount of experience that the weapon will gain from the experience that the character gains. And then the other one is this thing, which is basically setting the minimum refinement for that weapon to be synthesized. So stronger weapons, you can make them have to be refined multiple times before you can allow them to be synthesized. I thought, why not just do it, because I mean, it's more customizable that way. So it makes it a little more interesting, the plugin a bit more interesting, makes it a hell of a lot more complicated. The code to do this, it was already messed up for just the regular stuff. Adding this stuff in was like, holy crap inducing headache kind of stuff. I'll show you what I mean. So if you watched me code this originally, you'll know what this section of code looks like already in the action panel for the dealing with the whole whether you can synthesize something or not. It's like gone to a whole nother level now. So this is the code now. So before it was just like level of refine, all that stuff. All this extra, like I think literally something like a total of 30 or 40 lines of code just added in just to handle this whole synthesizing limit thing. There and down here too. So it got really complicated and I had to kind of sit and think about it for a while because it's just really complex and you have to consider like the fact that if the weapon, if you're in the else statement for this if statement, the weapon level is already not the max level, so you don't have to check it. You just have to check the, and I'm actually doing it anyway because I'm stupid. Yeah. So here's an example of where things are going to mess up. We don't actually need this here because it's already not going to be max level. Well, let's see. If weapon is max level here, and the else to that is not max level, then down here, we shouldn't be able to even call it. This stuff shouldn't even come up here. This part shouldn't. It should only ever be this. Rather, let's change it to, instead of this, just want this. Actually, no, I was right. It would never be that because we have to have max level 2, which we don't here. So we need to change this to just maximum level. I think it should actually be apostrophe S. It's apostrophe S is possessive of the level of the weapon. You need to max its level. It's without the apostrophe as it is. Or do I have that backwards? I can never. Sometimes I can remember, sometimes I can't. I'll leave it out and I'll figure it out later. So this is the other thing. So whenever, and I'll do this for the refine too, whenever you don't meet the requirements to do the synthesizing, then the help tag is going to change. The help text will change to tell you basically some basic stuff about it. Like for example, in this case specifically, you need to refine it at least to +2, or you need to max its level, and then you have the reinforcement of that down here with the red highlighted text and the showing of the maximum values. So there's that. Now the other thing I put in is, we'll have to close this down so I can change the plugin value for it. The other thing I added in was the ability to only show values, attributes on weapons that are not 0. So if you want to have all the attributes being shown, but you don't want to have them filling up the entire thing like that and looking messy, you can just do it this way. So let's put this back on to true here. Okay, and apply, and okay, and restart it. Yes. Save the changes. Continue, I think it's the first one. So now you can see we only have the ones that are showing and not all the other stuff like we had before. So it's just a lot cleaner looking and it's a lot easier to deal with, really. Especially when it comes to displaying stuff on some of the other menus. We'll need to have that happen regardless of what that setting is, because there's not really a lot of menu space to put stuff into those over there, unless we add a window to it, which I may do as well. I was also thinking about in the future, maybe for version 2 of the plugin, making these actual scrollable windows, like their own windows, instead of having them tied into this one. Break them off of this this stat window, make them their own windows, and make them scrollable, and then we can have a proper, like, say, here's maybe the full name of the stat and the value for it, and then maybe when we're upgrading it, leveling up or refining or whatever, whenever we have an increase in the stat or a decrease in the stat, we say we have maybe the shortened version of the name, and then the current value, and then the new value for both of them. So those are some things I'm thinking about for the future. What else? So did that. Add feature blacksmith window basic command. We did that. Did that. I still need to put in the plugin commands. I haven't actually done that yet. And the demo changes, put in the new area, the hidden items in the chest, and then the new weapon. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do for this new version of the plugin. What we're going to do now is we're going to put in the plugin parameters. Plugin commands, rather. So these commands are going to be turning on and off the new parameters, the 2 parameters. The only downside to this is that the updates I did to the way the note tag is loaded into the plugin in the game means that old save files won't be compatible anymore, because in the save file they're going to be integers instead of floats. And I mean, you could do it that way, it's just going to look weird because it won't have the proper values. So, we're too far. We need to go down. Like near line 1000 somewhere, I think. Plugin commands, there we are. So. Alright, so AWP, so what do we call these? So synth requirements. I guess we call them synth requirements. Synthrex. I can type it correctly. And then this one will be only non-zero params. So toggle NZ params and toggle synth recs. Okay, and then we'll just need to copy this. Copy all of it, rather. So, okay, so there's those. So that's done. So now we need to put in some new NPCs to handle those plugin commands. Maybe we can put it onto him since he does the stat-related stuff. Alright, we had something up here we did with the variables. Was it in here, or did we do it in the actual variable setting through like a... I think it was in the setter for the setters for the variables. There's like there's an event or something in the initial place here. Yeah, here we go. So, synthrex. NZ params on. Only, let's call it only. Alright, so back over here. The mouse stops glitching. Alright, so what we want to do with this now is we want to make a f_ext param 0 else. So let's add a new condition. Conditional branch. Rather no, new choices. So say Don't know what causes that to open up. So I'm not hitting Shift Tab, I'm hitting Shift something else, but it's still opening up. So cancel choice is number 4. And this is going to go on number 1. But that can be a template for the other stuff. God, that's messy looking, but alright, so I'm gonna edit this to being synth Rex on. So hello there. I need to go batch with this one. This only just has the other stuff that added in without these systems on to make sure that they aren't well, they won't. They shouldn't happen. If they're not on, they won't be called because they have to be called from those systems. Not really systems, but from the action pane. If those systems are disabled, they don't show up in the action pane, so it should be fine. Synthrex. I believe that's what we called it, Synthrex. Sounds like some sort of designer version of Anthrax. Synthrex. Damn it, where are you? Did we not go down far enough? I guess we didn't. There we go. Yeah, Synthrex. And then only non-zero params. I have no clue what is going on here. Alright, so I've got choice param settings, that's fine. So basically all that stuff I just changed got screwed over. Damn. Okay, let's just redo it. It's fine. Okay, now we're definitely gonna go batch this time. I worded that way differently. Alright, edit this again, back to this. Okay. Okay. Okay, so settings, my state settings when so what's this else from? Oh, I see. Crap. I need to change this again. Oh well, that's that's what we're doing today. We're just redoing shit. Okay. So this has got to be changed back to 0, and this has to be changed to. So, show choices, yes, and no. Okay, so I actually had it twice. Did I actually have it twice up here too? No. It just got pasted weirdly, I guess. Alright, so non-zeros. Currently, you will see all Yeah. But it's 0 that's showing everything. Okay. All right. Make a note of that. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn all this stuff off and just make sure it's working. So there's no conflicts or anything like that. So first of all, what we'll do is we'll go to we'll go turn off item object not function. Ow, what the hell? That's new. So where the hell did that come from? Array map. So party ability. Says there's 2 errors. Unexpected token else. Oh. Seriously. 3263. on else. That's because I took something out of here, I think. So if, oh yeah, that's why. Interesting, I'm taking that out and forgetting to remove a curly brace. Shot it all to hell. Alright, try this. There's no errors yet. No load errors anyway. Okay, there we go. So let's head down here. First, let's I'll turn that off and turn off the refine system. So now when we go back to there, we shouldn't see any of that stuff in the blacksmith. And it shouldn't cause any crashes either. Good. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Let's go test those plugin commands. That's interesting. It should have been the other way around. So I think it is on, and I think we just have to fix that. I might have the conditions in that backwards. I'll have to check. Alright, so now we should see everything. Let's come back up here. Yeah, there we go. Cool, that one works. The other one is the synthesization stuff, so we'll have to re-enable that. This one, I think. No, this one. So it should be on right now. Oh, because the refinement system's not on either. Interesting. True. So, you have to have the refinement system on if you want to do the synthesization system. Okay, that's a thing I'll have to make sure I note in the plugin update notes. You have to have both the systems on for them to work now. For the synthesization one to work. Okay, that's there. If you have this condition, if you're looking at the requirements, if you have the requirements enabled, if you don't, then you don't need to. I'll figure out. No. Toggle synth rex not defined. Alright, so we got a problem here. Toggle synth rex. Oh. RC instead of RQ. Derp. Yeah, how come? I'm gonna check why those are still not being set properly. They're still set as 0 and they should be set as 1. It's on all of them. It's not an issue with how they're set up. It's just that one. This isn't working apparently. Let's change it to an auto run. I think parallel means you have to be. I think parallel you have to have some sort of trigger to activate it. Auto run will run automatically. Oh, I know. Okay. I know what it is. Let's do a new game. Because I think the parameters are saved in there, so when we go back into it, it's not loading it correctly. Maybe. But we'll start with a new game and see what happens. Yeah. Alright, so, alright, so now it's disabled. We'll need to go up here, though, and, fight the fake boss here. Yep, no requirements. Nice. It all works. Awesome. So, that's that. And within the time limit I set that we're going to do. About 45 minutes. So, that's all for this update for this plugin then. So what's going to happen is I'm not going to do the release yet. I'm going to probably release it on Saturday sometime. I was thinking maybe tomorrow, but I need to go through and need to deal with all the issues with the enemies, the new ones, all the attack ordering, and also figure out what the balance should be for it as well, and play test it a bit. And then I'll do the release probably on Saturday. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. So, thanks for watching the stream. Also, I will, Hell or High Water, be doing a stream for SO3 tomorrow night. Don't know when I'll start that, but it will be sometime tomorrow night, just so you know. But if you watch stream live, thanks for doing so, and if you're watching it afterwards on YouTube, have any comments or questions, leave them below. And if you haven't done so already, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.